And welcome to this evening's Petaluma Community Access Board of Directors meeting for Tuesday, March 18th, 2014. Jason, would you please call the roll? Mr. Secretary?
Cindy Thomas.
Here.
Neil Fishman.
Here.
Matt Pearson. I'm here. Jason Davies. Rachel Moran.
Here.
Kathy Rivas.
Here.
Marcia Trent.
Here.
Tim Williamson.
Here.
John Bertucci.
Here.
Just one absent.
Okay, I believe we have a quorum, so with that said, we have no cards for public comment tonight. So, directors, any comments? Announcements?
Yes, I have an announcement, because I don't believe we put it on the
Camera.
agenda. Oh, hi. Yes, due to my business that's growing and my responsibilities to work and family, I regret that I will be resigning as a member of the PCA board. I will still be a resident of Petaluma and hope to be as involved as I can be in Petaluma Community Access.
We're not going to let you go.
Right, we have more to say on that in item 11, under new business, 11A, so.
Rope
That
Jason
said-
into more stuff.
With that said, we'll slice and dice this a little.
Cool.
Big loss.
Well, I'll miss you guys.
But we're
Still
glad your
here.
business is doing well.
Yeah.
It's good, yeah.
And this is a critical moment for you. You got to give it all you've got.
Yes.
Okay, any other tidbits? No? Okay. Oh, you have nothing for the city?
Like what?
This- You always have some kind of an announcement. Do we have any, like, free dumping or
Don't make stuff
electronic
up.
No gossip.
pick-up? or-
No free dumping until July.
Okay. All right, so we have in,
Electronics.
we have in front of us the agenda. Everybody's had a chance to look at it. Is there any modifications that we need to make? And if not, can we get a motion to approve?
I move.
Okay,
Second.
okay.
I have one comment on the agenda. This block here for public comment. We have an issue here with public comment, and I was thinking we don't need to have all this anymore. Maybe I should revise this and say, if you plan to come for public comment, please let us know. Make a reservation or something, because we'd have to organize for if we have public comment.
Is this verbiage that we have to have? Brown Act doesn't.
It's not Brown Act. It goes back to the days when we used
Yeah.
to have to have a.
Well, it's been there for
Security
as long as I can remember,
It's
yeah.
a transparency thing, yeah.
But if you like it, I'll leave it. But I was just.
What would be your recommendation? Leave it?
I'd cut it out if it goes over 2 pages. Save paper.
But we always go with 2 pages, so that won't
Yeah.
change anything.
And then you can single space.
Okay.
Okay,
Well,
I'll leave
just
it.
or modify it.
I'll take a look at it.
You could
Okay.
probably
Okay.
condense it.
I can condense it and put in
Okay.
something about spaces critical, so
sentences
let's
or
not
three.
become.
Okay. Sounds good. We have a motion on the floor to approve the agenda. Is there anyone opposed? Okay, then we have an agenda for this evening. We also have been provided before the meeting minutes for the January 21, 2014 meeting and also the February 18, 2014 meeting. I am assuming everybody's had a chance to look at these. And if not, does anybody need time? Any corrections? Can we entertain a motion to approve both sets of minutes? Or if somebody wants to vote separately because of an absence, do you want to do it separately?
Is that a hint?
Do you want to? Oh, is that the look?
I will abstain from the 18th, from the
Okay,
February
we'll do
meeting.
them separately. All those in favor of the
Give me a second.
January 21 meeting?
I'll second it, the
Alright.
January 21.
All right. And Anyone abstaining? You're abstaining from January.
No.
February. Okay, so we're all in favor of January,
Somebody's keeping it straight. Aye,
and we're all in favor of February with one abstention, Williamson.
even though nobody moved and seconded it.
Okay,
I'll second.
all right.
That's better.
Glad you're happy. You're going on the picture next.
All right.
There's lots of them around.
Since Matt is absent, I don't know what the treasurer's report is gonna look like unless you're gonna speak on his behalf, John.
Just that we
We all got copies,
we have
so,
copies and we're doing good. No more of those red numbers in the profit and loss. So,
it's a good thing.
I just have one question.
sure.
Under the income where it says capital expense reimbursement, what is that?
When we buy depreciable equipment,
Uh-huh.
we use the capital expense
Okay.
fund that the city holds. We pay out of operating costs, they reimburse us.
Okay.
That's just how the reimbursements come
Okay,
back. Yeah.
I just was curious what it was.
Do we track that account? How much is left in there?
$35,000.
Okay.
Yeah, it was about 30.
How much?
Just off the top of the head,
About how much?
Transferring that
35,000.
into
like a real money guy.
our account, so the city wouldn't have to.
If we replenish it, we would put it into a new account. We wouldn't put it into the city account,
Yeah.
but taking it out of the city would be more trouble in this way.
Okay. Just remember what I was talking about.
It would be pretty easy just to spend it.
Yeah, it seems to me we did pretty well. We got a studio and all this stuff, and we still have getting some of that capital money left.
Yeah. I was talking to Zach about it today, and I think we will have an issue in 2 years with the capital. He needs another $1,000 worth of pieces to put this up. We've been doing, well, that's, like I said.
Okay. Okay, so we're good with the,
But if we get the radio station, we need to spend a lot of money.
All right.
Yeah, there's an update on the radio station too.
okay then, thank you, John. And it's time for your report, the executive
Very
director's
good.
report,
The segue
and
is
you're
up.
on.
I'm on, okay, so we had a board fundraising retreat after the potluck, which was great, at Neil's house. The fundraising retreat was really neat, I thought. It was very successful. We met at work, Petaluma, and Diane was, she worked closely with the subcommittee on this, and she knows what she needed to do, and she even put me in place. Yeah. I brought those worksheets if anybody wants theirs made out for themselves. This is just kind of a tally for if you got a target, and you can kind of track that you talked to them 3 times, or how much money you got. One of the key things Diane was saying is to think about your contacts, your target contacts, and think about what would interest them about PCA and what might be a problem in their perception of PCA, and prepare the talking points, which we will continue to work to prepare on white sheets as ambassadors. I made one out for you, Jason, even though I know you're not going to be on the board. I knew ahead of time. But as a friend of PCA, you can still be an ambassador and bump into people, and certainly if we get into the radio production, it'll be very helpful.
I do bump into people. Sometimes it's painful.
Okay, Zach has been doing some moral and technical support for Novato Public Access. They had a meltdown between their executive director and the board and the school that they were on. I don't know the backstory of that. The executive director left and the board was in meltdown mode, and they they put a young woman who was there as an assistant. She's now the interim PD, and they had trouble with their electronic server. So Zach went down to help her untangle that. Then he went down to speak to their board at their board meeting, and just told them, how to set their priorities in this kind of a crisis. Is one, you keep the shows on the air so you don't lose the stations. Make it real simple. You can just use a bulletin board to keep the show, keep the air signal going, and then to work yourself out of the hole with careful decisions. They get their DIVCA fees about the same range we do. It's ironic because the executive director landed a $3 million grant about 8 years ago, and they finally got it into position to set up a whole media lab on the high school. And then he got kicked out of the high school, so I don't know what the story is.
That's
But
strange.
they have a studio and
$3 million, where'd
yeah.
they get that from?
it was a California youth media, and I'm not sure. And it was one of those things where he got in at the last minute and forgot about it for 2 years, and then they got a call saying you got it. So they set up a really nice media lab on the high school campus, but now I don't think they're even welcome at the high school. So it's a tangled story, but it was great to be able to help them out. And you know, the thought crossed Zach and my minds that you know, we might want to expand that. Nevada's a little farther away than we'd want to go, but we did talk about Rohnert Park and Santa Rosa and those options. So we'll keep in touch, and the interim ED is going to be coming up to tour our station soon. On the LPFM update, there is no real update. We're still waiting on the FCC. Matt did help Zach get onto the campus with the official guide, and they picked out spots where they could put the receiver. Some of them are quite interesting because they already had antennas and they had the internet cabling going right into it. The studio update, we've had a couple of shakedown cruise kind of productions. Mario did one, and then our intern did one, and we've had trained people, but they had no shows have started coming out. So that's something I think we're going to revise our no staff productions. We're going to revise it just to sort of prime the pump and get things out of here. One of the ideas we bounced around in the staff meeting is Zach is working hard to get live streaming to go from here right onto the internet. And they did a test, it worked, except that when you hit go on the YouTube feed, it's got a 40-second delay. So you have to wait a minute and then start your show because it won't get onto
Is
the
that
feed.
YouTube or Ustream?
YouTube. Yeah, we got a special channel that can do streaming. One of the ideas we talked about today was that maybe we should jump on the election cycle in Petaluma to try to contribute, but also use it as a platform to get more visibility. We could renew our old policy of setting up a week where all the candidates could come in and tape a 3-minute piece. There's always the question of equal opportunity or equal balance. The way it's been handled in the past is we set up a week, 3 days with hour blocks, and we give everybody a chance to make a reservation. If they fail to make the reservation, then the onus is on them for not having their 3 minutes. That's something we could easily redo now that we have the studio, but we were talking about maybe offering a Q&A call-in show or internet email questions and have candidates actually come in, go live, and
Weren't you gonna do something like that, Cindy?
yeah, that's a little different. We could get it's a little more opinionated, but it could be the same thing. If you guys got your show together and you wanted to invite candidates on, I just think we could use the election to put PCA back in front of people.
Yeah, and candidates generally will jump at any opportunity to get airtime.
Visibility.
We don't have to redo the forums where they're all here, but we could give each one a chance to come on. We could do a half-hour live show with candidate number one.
Kind of like infomercials. Like infomercials.
More like call-in shows, where the
Okay.
actual people could
Yeah.
tune in live. You know, we haven't really worked out the bugs to go live on the TV channels here. That would be more of a connectivity problem between here and City Hall. But the idea of going on YouTube could be exciting.
I can get you fiber for $800 a month.
Okay. I could use the 800 too.
Huh?
Can you get the 800 a month? That's a bit more than we got. You can't get it for $12 like that
Partner
other
with
one?
someone.
Yeah, how right? Huh?
We'll partner with someone.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
If you did something like that, how would you let people know about it?
Well, we have a very good relationship with the Argus now. I went over and I met Sean.
So,
So we could use press releases through the Argus. We could post it on our Facebook. The usual
okay.
distribution
So-
techniques.
You could also post it on another, the Aquas has a community
Yeah.
board,
Oh, yeah, the
stuff
Aqua- we
like
use the
that.
Aquas, yeah.
So we could post it on a lot of different
Yeah.
places. That's what you would do?
Yeah, oh yeah, we
Yeah.
would make sure everybody had a chance because it would work if they had the exchange with the audience.
Yeah.
You need an audience
Yeah.
out there feeding us questions.
Yeah.
Although I could be in my office and have a couple of ringer questions.
Well, I could send a couple too, but
Yeah.
we're audience, but,
Does anybody, go ahead.
I was going to say, we might want to look at a system to rank questions. When I moderated a congressional candidate forum at Pixel Corp, we actually used a system whereby people would type in questions in real time, and then others would actually rank the questions. So the ones that got the highest rankings would sort of filter up to the top, and those would be the
Like a user voice type
yeah,
thing?
those would be the ones that would end up getting used. So I might look
Yeah.
at
Could be fun. Let's see. The Argus coverage, everybody got the chance to see the two spreads we got. Well, actually, Zach got one of them. If you missed it, I brought it.
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen them?
Yeah,
We got
somehow the Argus has decided not to deliver to us anymore.
we got the front page
Do you
on our
pay the
studio,
bill?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But
and
not that these people need help, not jail. It's the one below it.
and Zach got a
No,
community
Oh,
profile.
Oh,
yeah.
excellent.
He's buying donuts.
Yeah.
That's great.
He's a little frustrated because it's he's just learning how the press can spin things,
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes, they can.
and he's not so sure. Where is it? He said he's looking. I'd like maybe someday to work at the Federal Communication Commission.
What?
I don't think he actually said that. And so what's the next issue?
Follow-up interview.
The Aquas, we were supporting, and I consulted the organizers for the Aquas, had a night of short films. It was really neat. There was 24 films. It was long, but what was really interesting is all PCA staff were represented. Thomas had worked on a film that was in, Mario was in on a film, Zach was in the credits of a film, and I took one of my films. And this article here, it ends with talking to Luke, who is in the front. I own my own gear, but occasionally borrow from PCA. I enjoy working with like-minded people that celebrate Petaluma. Smith asks him when he plans to use the new studio. And he says, when I can make money at it. And then here's a film. I wanted to show everybody this film because it's really cute. This was Mario's contribution to the festival.
Hit the play button there.
Cut a picture on that.
Yeah, actually, it's kind of strange, you know. We used to hang out all the time, you know, make movies, play video games, you know, just kind of normal stuff. But yeah, he's been really, really distant lately. And every time I can actually get a hold of him, all he does is talk about Ellen and how much he loves her show. You know, it's kind of strange.
Mario? Yeah, I haven't seen him in a while. He's big into Ellen. He's always talking about trying to get on her shows.
Chuck turns into.
He's always doing that dare dance thing. I'm really good at it though.
Send that to Ellen.
What?
Just send that to Ellen.
People are gonna try. It's pretty neat, huh?
Yeah.
Very
cute.
clever. We got talent, that's for sure.
Is this on YouTube?
It's on YouTube, yeah, we're streaming from YouTube
How
now.
many hits we got on this?
I don't know. You'd have to ask Mario on the way up. Oh, Thomas pushed it to Ellen's Facebook page.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
Okay, enough of that. So that's my report.
That's it. Okay, that was good, thank you.
It's fun, huh?
Yeah, fun. Okay. Nothing on the consent calendar. And were there any committees that met in the last month? I don't know of any.
But I think, if I may suggest that the nominating committees meet before the next meeting. We've got 3, maybe 4 caps.
See if we can schedule that before we leave.
Okay.
Wait, yeah. Okay. That said, we'll move to old business and 10A, discussion and possible action on a 2014 board fundraising campaign, which is a spin-off from our retreat.
Yes, so we got the marching orders. We got a plan.
Now we gotta do.
Now we gotta do it. And it, you know, it really doesn't have to be hard. It's really just activating your ambassador roles and giving you the materials you need to take every opportunity to take it to the next step. You have these, you can take them when you go. We'll try to be systematic, but we'll take what we can get. That's our motto around here. Do the best we can with what we got.
Should we pass those around right now and take a
Yeah.
look at them in case there's any questions?
Well, you each have one with your name on it, except you,
Lovely.
Tim. I left you out.
Same D.
There's
I didn't think it would be.
me,
I didn't think it would be honorable for the city employee to be
Jason.
talking money.
Marcia,
And-
where's yours? There's yours.
But you can still work in the background.
You know, it's a worksheet. It'd be nice if we could keep a
Kathy,
Ellie.
tally in
Do you
the.
have an electronic version?
Jason.
Yeah, you sent it to
I made,
And
I have one
did
with
you
my
already
name
do
on
one, Neil, or
I
was
just changed
Jason
my
one?
name, changed your name.
Is there
protect
one
the
with
innocent.
Neil's
Yeah.
name on it somewhere?
Should be. Oh, Neil, you.
Here, he can
Uh-oh.
become this, because I have one.
Yeah, it's just a worksheet, and I can print out another before you leave.
Okay.
If you're gonna send
pen copy.
electronic version to Jason, will you send me one?
I think you
Yeah,
did send
I
it.
sent it out.
You sent it
Well,
out
with
I
our-
sent out just mine. Then I went
And
and
then you just changed your
duplicate
name.
it and
Yeah.
changed the name.
Yeah.
Or we
and put
could
them
do
all
a
out.
Google Doc.
Yeah, we talked about setting up a Google Doc.
And this
maybe-
is more directed at getting sponsorships or
any kind of donation. Sponsorships is one of the ways we can route it. Just a, what do they call it? Unrestricted donations. Those are the best. All you have to do is thank them. We were talking about, you know, if we wanted to go to electronics and if we wanted to change our server in City Hall, we could create a fund drive for that, and we could have people put their names on it. We'd love to get Photoshop into our toolbox so we can teach people how to use Photoshop. We can't get a deal from Apple or what is it that does Photoshop? It's Adobe. They don't have deals. So it's pretty expensive to get enough for our 4 computers. So we could itemize a certain kind of fund
They
drive.
do have like a nonprofit
Yeah,
slash
we did that.
educational discount.
Do you remember we did that? It was a
We-
nonprofit.
Did we get anything from it? I remember
Yeah, we
trying.
got
You get a-
Adobe. I think
you get a
we've got.
discount.
Yeah.
You have to buy them.
We were able to get Adobe on that.
Well, we get a lot of stuff through TechSoup, which offers
Yeah.
nonprofits discounts, but they don't have any Adobe products. And part of it's because Adobe is shifting to cloud sourcing.
Yeah. Yes.
So it's a
Subscription.
complicated thing, but I was just
Oh.
using that as an example. So we've got business sponsorships, we've got unrestricted donations, we've got underwriting for in-kind trades like we did for the open house. I can work with you on all of that. And Marcia and Kathy were asking about coming in to get a little lesson in giving tours at the station. That's another thing. You could invite somebody down to see the station that you represent and give them a little tour and jazz them all up.
So you're gonna get name tags that say docent?
You know, I had a nice sit-down meeting with John Burns. I didn't hit him with the donation. I used it as a first visit to try to find out how I could help him. I got a subscription for the Argus, and but that would be my first try. That would sort of kind of track when I go to the next level. We did have a nice call from Elena at the Summit Bank. We get points through the year based on our average monthly balance, and they give us a donation based on that. And she called me up and said, I'm just thinking about our next donation to PCA, and I'd like the $256 that I'm giving you now to be part of the next donation. So she's already signed up for another donation, and that'll be their 4th year. So that's exciting. We loan Zach out to Pixel Core quite often, and I think that would be grounds for,
They need to monetize that.
yeah, that would be a slam dunk. Alex travels a lot, but I told him he has to see Zach's little gem of a studio, and he wants to, so when he gets back, I'll work on him. And Marcia, you put together a long list of names. You can't do them all, so,
I'll be happy to share them.
yeah. And Neil, you talked about your brother, and so this is just a tool, and I'm,
I talked to him. I think we were both drunk though, so I didn't talk to him again.
There's no checkbox for that. That's not a problem.
Whatever works.
You might get all the way to the 3rd try that way.
yeah, a lot of fun.
Single malt.
He didn't start laughing.
You know, if we did did some stuff around the elections, maybe the candidates would chip in. That's really it. Maybe we should have our little subcommittee meeting and kind of connect all the dots that are still floating. And
I made a couple of contacts, and just dropped off some information, said hello, I'd like to meet you. Here's some information about PCA, are you familiar with it? I'll check back with you in a week just to see if I can, bring something else to you and see if we can work something together. This week's been a little bit harried for me. We've had a death in our family, so things have been a little bit scary. So I just will follow up on that as time comes. One was Exchange Bank, and one was the Sonoma County Fair. So Marin Fair, excuse me. So we'll see.
Nice.
I think that's it for that item. Unless anybody else has any questions. But I just will throw in the fact that, this is Fundraising with training wheels. You know, we're trying something. We want to get the ball rolling and get some habits, change the culture a little more aggressive towards that end of bringing money into the annual budget. And like I said earlier, the capital expense fund could become a problem in a couple of years because it's not replenished. So the more practice we get on the low-hanging fruit, the easier it'll be to go into high gear for a major fund drive.
Okay, thank you. 10B, under old business, discussion and possible action on the 2014 Butter and Egg Day parade plans, which, that's for Kathy.
Well, I turned in our application.
Yay, thank you.
So we're official. They didn't, she looked at it briefly and said everything was there that they needed, so I assumed they accept us. As a committee, we kind of talked about, you know, try to stay with homegrown media, which was kind of our
I can pass around the text.
campaign information as well. And then we talked about possibly having our banner, which, John, you kind of pursued getting up.
Well, I've got the design. I didn't get any
Oh,
feedback on it.
okay.
I put together this design for a banner, but then I realized we have the one up on the wall in the main room was new last year. It just doesn't have the
homegrown media.
homegrown media. Zach didn't like the fact that I used 3 different fonts. I
I
like
would
that.
agree.
But you know, this could be revised. It's I haven't looked into the cost for
I
it.
like that.
I like it too.
I don't know how long does it take to get a banner made once you,
I'd like to order it next week.
right, I was gonna say, because we're already a month away.
I did order the T-shirts.
Okay,
Got plenty of T-shirts, got sizes.
that was the next thing I was gonna say, that I assume we all got emails in regards to T-shirts and
Did
ordering.
everybody respond?
Not everybody
No,
responded.
I don't even know if I saw it. I guess
No,
I'll have
it
to
came
take a
from
look.
John.
I got a spectrum of shirts. I'm replenishing the male shirts, mostly large and extra large. Got the requested sizes, and this year we got 8 or 9 ladies cuts. They only go up to extra large.
Mhm.
So
Are we just gonna have the banner, or is there gonna be something else?
that's the main.
Well, that's why I
course.
stopped at the banner, because I wasn't sure where we were with that. The other was to either use, originally we talked about a baby carriage and doing that, but then things sort of flip-flopped around, and we decided that possibly a wagon with flowers, with possibly a tree growing out of. Cindy had suggested that we have a bunch of magnets already printed that we could possibly put together and hang from the tree. We're sort of open for any and all suggestions if you have something else that you think would be.
If you're gonna have a tree and a wagon, you gotta have cameras.
Yeah, well, the idea was that the camera would grow, even in a baby carriage. A baby
Right.
carriage with a camera, and it's
Right.
growing. But when Marcia did the text, the plants growing, sprouting, the seeds, was a better image. It just played better. So that shifted us towards the gardener. In fact, when I was getting the T-shirts, I considered getting ponchos. But you can only put one color, and it's just a small logo, so it really wouldn't have had much impact. But the idea of, we're farmers with tilling our garden, and what we grow as media, that would be the image to illustrate.
And be able to have some of the older cameras
Yeah.
available,
We would have probably 3 again holding the banner, and then walkers with cameras like last year. Some of them operational, some not.
Any suggestions?
You walking with us this year?
I ride my bike.
That'd be,
I wanna
With
watch
training
the parade
wheels.
this year. I've never gotten to watch
Yeah.
the parade. I wanna be in it.
Well,
It's easier to see if you're not in it, yeah.
Well, you
watch
could
it on
always
PC.
watch it on the
PCA
PCA later.
My son already said that he wants to be in it.
Great.
So we got
And-
one
and
one
you
little
too?
volunteer.
You're welcome.
you do also, right?
Well, I have to if my son's gonna be in it.
Yeah.
Great.
He's only 9.
He hasn't told you about the money I'm giving him. To get you there.
Shoot, I'll give you $20 if you talk to Dad.
Because
yeah.
I had to beg him the last couple times.
Is the banner
He just
heavy?
spontaneously a couple months ago
Is
said,
the
"Okay,
banner
do that."
heavy?
Parade again.
No.
I said, "Why?"
We use
It's only one.
PVC pipe to lash it to it
To hold it up.
and then hold it up, yeah.
And you have the PC.
And the PVC pipe
pipe,
is in my
right?
garage.
Where do we actually meet to start this parade?
Down by Walnut Park, there's a long staging area. They give you a number. They have
Goes
to
all
cut.
the way
Will
to
they
I
be,
Street.
will they be sending us a number ahead
Yes.
of time?
Yeah,
So that'll come
we
here
get
to
a packet.
decision?
yeah.
Tell
Okay.
us where
And
we're
then
going.
they give us an assignment
Okay.
and
You'd be at this place at that time and your number
It's-
this.
And-
Okay.
We got stuck at the end one year and we didn't like it, so we asked to be at the front. We got them to the front, and then we found out that we didn't like that either. So we just went. we
Just take
went-
whatever happens.
Take whatever they give us. We didn't want to get special.
Well, that was pretty much, unless someone else has something else to offer
No,
towards it.
we had a staff meeting today. We talked about getting interns, and interns get T-shirts. That's really what
Right.
we use them for. And then they go out to lunch afterwards. So we get volunteers, interns, access assistants, and we've been doing. Zach's been doing them for 5 years now. The system has really worked out well. Last year we rented risers to put cameras up higher, and it was just great. So we're going to do that again. It marks our area. You don't have to fight with people putting their chairs in front of our
You
cameras.
put a sign in front on the risers too?
Oh yeah.
Are we gonna be handing out anything? We just have not to do anything
No,
We
handing
didn't
out.
do a
Handing out.
handout.
Handing
last
out
time.
No, I don't think
Okay.
we're going
I think PCA needs a drone.
Yeah,
to. There you go. That would
Everybody
be
watch 60
that would be
Minutes last
cool.
night.
Mark Mooney's got
See,
one.
that's a really good
Yeah.
point. We should
With a
see if
camera on
Mark,
it?
With a
Mark
camera.
would
Uh-huh.
be
He
involved.
does,
with
yeah,
that.
yeah, talk to Mark.
okay. Mark Moon.
That's
Tell
a
him I
great
ratted him
idea.
out.
that would be fun.
That'd be awesome.
Oh.
Someone will
Pretty scary.
complain, though, I'm sure.
Well, you can't have it right over the parade, because if it goes bad and hits some kid or something, it would not be good.
They're pretty sophisticated. They avoid objects. You program them too. And they even have a fly home feature, so if it gets
Like
out of reach,
if the battery starts going low, it'll fly
just,
home.
yeah, it's like a GPS, and it'll go right back to where you was.
That's amazing.
And they'll deliver pizza.
That's even better yet.
But you have to add an extra
Yeah.
battery.
Yeah, it depends on the weight, the size of the pizza.
Okay. Did we allocate money for this, or are we just gonna expense it back? when
We'll
we're
expense
done?
it back. I
Okay.
always put a nice
Got a
chunk
line
into
item.
board
Okay.
development
Yeah.
and also into promotions.
Okay, good.
Oh, I had a question.
And where are we gonna find this wagon?
Well, that's
Was my next question.
Yeah.
Is what your suggestions for that would be?
eBay, Craigslist.
Yeah. Or
You gotta do homegrown media. Shouldn't everybody wear overalls?
yeah, I was thinking.
That's
that
a great idea.
Yeah.
And that,
Overalls?
there's a Petaluma free cycle or something
On Petaluma Boulevard.
online that you can tell people
Overalls,
you
straw
want something
hats.
and somebody comes up with it.
Oh.
I was-
It
Send it
doesn't
to
have
me.
to be a wagon. It just
It's
has
a
to be on
Yahoo.
Has to be
wheels.
something that with
Simulate.
wheels,
With
right?
wheels. And I'm thinking a planter box on wheels. We could rig that up.
Yeah, you could put a planter on a dolly.
For $100.
Get a big dog
How
to
about
pull
that
it like a
little
horse.
red wagon? How about the little red wagon?
No, we can't
Yeah.
have a dog. We would
We could have
had to
both.
Somebody could have a
dispose
little
of
red
it.
wagon
have
or,
both.
yeah.
The little
Or
dro-
garden wagon, those garden wagons, do you sell the garden wagons too?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I think if we had our outreaching committee or the Butter and Eggs committee got together and made a list of what we needed,
Okay.
we could circulate that by email
Okay.
and people
Okay.
could try to
I
find it.
bet if you went to Friedman's and
We
you
should drive a
told them that we'll
tractor.
put their name on the wagon, they'd give us a
That'd be
wagon.
good. A John Deere tractor.
I think there will be plenty of those.
Yeah, there'd probably be already plenty of those.
Yeah. Okay, are we done with that? Okay, thank you. New business, 11A, discussion and possible action on creation of a PCA advisory council. And this came out of a conversation that Jason and John and I had one evening. We got together, and I made the recommendation based on a model that Mentor Me Petaluma has. They have their directors like this, and then they also have an advisory council, and it's key people in town that would have something to offer, something to bring to the party, if you will. There's a city council member. There is members of other nonprofits, leaders, key people that works for them as consultants. And I think that Jason would be perfect in a role on an advisory committee if we formed one. His ideas around the radio station are very valuable. He's technically inclined, so what we would have to do is we'd have to decide who we would want to target for this advisory council. Suggestions would be like Tom Gaffey over at the Phoenix, so we can get to the youth over there. So you see where I'm going with this? Okay, so
What about, are there prominent entertainers and media types? We got a lot of people who live in Sonoma County and
Yep.
Yeah, it's like maximizing our ambassador pool
Yep.
with that people who don't have the time to be on the board.
It'd be ad hoc members.
How many people are you talking about?
Well, I don't know. It's just an idea in the beginning, so it's entirely up to all of us as a collective to decide what that's going to look like. It might be that we just start with Jason, and as our needs develop, we might think of somebody, or we can invite people now. I think asking Tom is a slam dunk. I mean, we've had a relationship with the Phoenix Theater for a while, and
Maybe John Crowley.
John Crowley would
I
be
can think of a
good.
bunch of people.
Chris Sampson is somebody who wanted to get on the board, but he's traveling
Jason, is
so
this
much.
something that you're,
Yeah, this came
Interested?
about because I have a lot of interest in PCA. The problem is I don't have the time necessarily to consistently be at scheduled meetings. For example, I'm here now. I'm here this week, but
The last
by
week
the
you-
skin of my teeth. I came in not too long ago. I'm a little jet lagged, frankly. But I missed the last two meetings, but was in Petaluma, the week around that time. So really it came about because I simply said, look, I enjoy PCA. I like being able to contribute what I can. I just can't consistently be at all the meetings. So then Cindy thought, well, here might be another way where you can, be on hand in an advisory capacity as you're able, and depending on our needs. So.
We don't want you to leave the family.
Yeah, whether I'm formally an ambassador or an advisor or whatever you want to call it, I'm going to be around. I'm interested in particularly in the radio station and in helping in the sound studio. I'm going to be very interested in this show that I've been talking with Cindy about doing. So whether or not there's an official advisory council or it's just me being involved when I can, I'm open for any avenue.
I think it's really a good idea.
I
think that was
Mhm.
nice.
And I think,
think that's what it was,
a
yes.
setup like that would be appealing to a lot of people. So
And I was letting the guys know that at Mentor Me, on their letterhead, they actually have the directors listed on one side and then advisory to the
Lot of
side.
organizations
And
do that, yeah.
it's effective when you're looking at a piece of a letter, like a plea.
It's impressive.
It's impressive.
Some
official.
land trust on the board member there, and they
Like a
have the
little
same thing.
organization.
Even
Advisory.
even if I weren't, if
Not like
John
us.
or anyone
Not
wanted to
like us.
fire me off with questions like, hey, what's your take on this? I'm not going to ignore the email. But if if you wanted to have it formalized.
I think formally would be great, you know, if you were to bump into somebody, as you tend
Yeah.
to do, and you wanted to hit them up for money for PCA, it would give you an edge. I'm on their advisory committee.
Well, that's true. It would be a little more effective than saying I'm a
And your
board
idea,
member that
your
resigned.
and Neil's idea of celebrities, that's the other cachet for it.
Maybe we could get Leo. That'd
Yeah.
be cool.
Well,
DiCaprio.
it would be helpful for all
Laporte.
of us when we're talking to people saying, you know, you can make a
Almost the same thing.
contribution and be on our advisory committee.
The tech guy.
I think it's
You
a
must
good
have heard
idea.
him on. Do you ever listen to the
And
radio?
won't lose a chase. That's a
Yeah.
good
Oh,
idea.
he's not
Yeah.
on the radio anymore. He's on
I have
streaming
Yeah.
stuff.
No, he's still on the radio.
What channel?
They
Sidebar.
put him back?
he's syndicated. He's
Sidebar.
on,
Oh, I
We're
don't
having
know
a
who it
sidebar
is.
here.
He's
I've
on
heard the name,
AM.
but I don't know
He's
who
on
it is.
AM on the weekends. I hear him all the time.
Are you
I'm
talking about
way
Leo
lamer
Laporte?
than I may
Yeah.
I listen to KGO. That's probably what. Do you ever listen to KGO?
I will.
Hello.
Sorry.
Well, do you have contact, do you know him personally? Would you
Yeah.
be able to, well, then you could say, I just joined the PCA Advisory Council. You
I
want-
have a number of things I have to go speak to him about, so
Okay, if it fits.
that could be on the list.
Is he a local?
Yeah, he's right across from Petaluma Market for Pixel.
Oh, this is Pixel Core.
Well, Pixel Core subleases.
The back part of
Leo.
Leo's studio. And I forgot to say something in the fundraising campaign, but this would fit, and it was basically your idea of a Lagunitas fundraiser.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking if we wanted to do that, we should decide very quickly. And we
Yes,
should
it's hard to get
We
dates.
should aim it for the October members meeting.
Would outreach and development be?
Yeah. So maybe we need some committee meetings, outreach. Well, actually, we gotta take Davies off here.
Really?
Well, I think the minutes stand as the official resignation.
Come on, we're letting you off the hook on the secretary position. You could at least stay on that outreach.
As an advisory council.
I mean, I'm happy to
Ad
stay,
hoc.
but then it's disappointing when I can't make it. That's
No,
the
it's
problem.
okay.
Yeah.
No, we'll take you when we can get you.
Yeah. Thank you.
And they're really difficult shoes to fill.
You have big feet.
No, it's a lot. You have created an expectation in your role there that's been really hard to meet.
Okay, well, I think we should make it official and get a motion to create this council and, well, hold on. Do we need to have a process for adding members to this council? Do we need to come here, nominate them, and then be agreeable to?
They're appointed by the board.
Yeah, I think that we need to do that. So what we could do
all
is
right,
take
I'll-
nominations and then whoever
I'll
makes the
I'll move that we
nomination.
establish an advisory council to be established by a vote of the board. And
Okay.
members will be added by a vote of the board. by
Okay, so we
nomination
would
by board members.
just to clarify that, so then I would come and nominate Rachel, and then if it's passes, if the motion passes here, then I would be responsible for going and asking Rachel.
You might want to ask her.
No,
ahead
no,
of
no,
We
time.
I-
can't ask her until we get consensus from the board on whether we want to have that person. I mean, we don't want people running around and bringing people in and.
Should we authorize it first with the quantity and a purpose?
So it's two things. We've got to first authorize that we want to establish advisory council, and then authorize the mechanism by which
Right.
people are appointed.
Right.
And I would say, you see, you can't do the second without the first, so there sounds like there is a motion on the table for
Right,
the first.
okay. So the motion was made by
Fishman.
Fishman. Was there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. So Marcia seconds that. Should we just take care of that one first? Everyone in favor? Anyone opposed? No abstentions? Okay. So that passes. The process for which we appoint members to that council would be,
I think before you do the process, I think you're right. I think we need to establish how many and what the purpose is, what the mission,
Yeah, you need to
And then-
formalize the
right, we need to decide.
protocols for.
Okay,
Well,
so then is this gonna be taken offline and bring a recommendation back here as to how?
There must be a committee that can do it.
No,
The
it
executive
seems to me.
One
that-
you're on, Tim?
The
I thought we
executive-
Yeah, the
established-
Policies and Procedures
No, it's-
Committee.
Yeah,
Never
let's
meets.
put
You
the
know,
policies.
I don't know
We're
why
so successful.
we need to go too far out on this thing. I mean, we want one, I mean, we can limit the number to 15 or 12 or whatever we
That's a lot.
decide to
And we
do.
probably wouldn't
And-
want, yeah, I
Five?
think,
3 to 5.
Why don't we just leave it up to the discretion of the board?
Yeah,
Okay.
and
Why do we have to set numbers?
Yeah,
why don't we
Okay.
just go ahead and
okay,
say,
but I don't
By
think
appointment.
that we would
By board
want.
appointment.
well, and the purpose of it is to add new ideas, fresh ideas to the board, to,
Okay.
evaluate our programs and give us advice and, add levels of expertise and cachet to the whole organization. So, and I think that, it ought to be, if a board member or a staff member wants to suggest somebody, maybe they should talk to John first and then talk to somebody to see if they have an interest, and then if they do, bring it to the board for approval.
Yeah, John, Nancy.
John or the chair.
Okay.
So that potential members.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be a work in progress.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we need to, I don't think we want to
It doesn't
approve
have to be that
anybody before
formal.
they're being talked to, because they may not. be
We talked
interested.
about it, we didn't want to call it a committee, we don't want it to
Yeah.
figure in the board
That's
business.
okay.
It's an
Council.
adjunct to the.
Yeah.
and if it's too formalized, then we don't get to mess around with it a little bit and figure out exactly how we want to do it.
Yeah.
That's true.
Would we
Mess
be still within the agenda item 11A if we made an appointment tonight of Jason, or do we need to put that on the next agenda?
It's not, item's not limited.
Okay,
Yeah, I think we could do that.
okay. Well, I would
So we can
like
keep
to
passing
nominate
actions regarding that.
Jason Davies and make a motion that the nomination be accepted.
One second.
Which is why you
Okay,
nominated him.
so did you get that, Jason? Me and Marcia?
Trent second.
I motion, Marcia second. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed?
So
Abstention?
will
You're
this
in.
be
Okay.
a self-regulating group, or who's in charge of this group? Are you in charge of it? Are you in charge of it? Who calls its
I
meetings?
think it,
I don't know if there are meetings.
yes.
Yeah.
That's kind of the point.
Well, no, the idea,
They-
but maybe they meet once a year, maybe
Yeah,
they meet
yeah,
twice a
ad-
year.
Yeah,
ad
I
hoc.
think,
Yeah.
I can't remember how often they met over at Metro Me, but that's a little
Probably
larger.
need-based.
Yeah,
Consider it.
yeah.
Jason can figure that out.
I mean, it's a meeting of one. No, I
You
guess.
tell yourself.
That way you can always
Yeah.
attend.
You can have your own meeting.
Yeah, exactly. I'm always on
Jason can
time.
figure
He's
it out.
always on time, always attends.
Never miss one of those, yeah. Made to order.
I mean, we talked about, there might be times when I can make a meeting. I don't know. And I could be a member of the public, sitting on the floor somewhere or something.
Public comment.
Well, I think it'll develop as by need,
Yeah.
and if say we, for example, if we got the LPFM and Jason's idea of using my office as the sound studio,
Yeah.
I'd call Jason up and say, hey, we got it.
Exactly.
Let's have coffee and talk about how we can move forward on this, how you got ideas. So they're on call, kind of a pool, and I think having meetings would defeat the purpose, because then we're back where we started from. So it's just a resource pool of high visibility supporters.
But that said, I mean, if you want to call me in sometime and I'm in town and I don't have to be at a show or something like that, I don't have any problem with.
Yeah,
with
no,
coming
I
to
understand
meetings.
that, but I think this is. a
Maybe
nice-
this will be our way of getting somebody finally from the schools to
Yeah.
participate.
That's a good idea.
I'm right here.
So, it's not, I think I just, we need to point out that Jason just resigned, it will be in the minutes, but we have to approve it, that'll get on the agenda for approval next meeting. But the ramifications are, Jason is the secretary. And I just wanted to say, Jason, you know, there was some confusion or apprehension around the Skype presence, and I don't hope that wasn't part of the problem, because, you know, having the Skype in here would be easy. We could formalize it, it would be constant. It was just that the potluck at Neil's house wasn't the meeting where it would have functioned.
No, it's fine. It's not a big deal.
But I bring it also up because that's contingent on Matt's continued
Right.
presence. His schedule is not going to permit him to be at any meetings, and he's starting to have doubts, so we'll be talking to Matt between now and the next meeting to see what
Maybe
he's
he
gonna-
wants to be on the advisory
Yeah,
council.
that's possible. But,
Okay,
so
so,
next agenda, oh, no, you're not going to do
I'm
anything?
gonna be secretary.
So, yeah, so you
I
need
do-
to.
yeah, we're gonna have to
need
put
get
on,
us
place on the next agenda.
Appointment of a secretary.
So, yeah.
We'll also be talking about it in the nominating committee, because the only real obligation we have are 5 elected seats. The rest are appointment at will of the board. And we can go up to 13. We've never had 13. I think this is a
We got
functioning.
close, we had up to 12 once.
Yeah, we're up to 12.
We had a jury.
But here we have
Own
7,
jury,
and I
too.
think 7 is really functional.
Good number.
Fits this room.
Yeah, we would have to move.
Yeah, if you got 12 people in this room.
We'd have to move.
I mean, there's
But-
only
Yeah,
7
I think the
council
fire
members.
marshal would not
That's-
be
You know,
that's-
for a
happy.
city of
Yeah.
58,000, we
Jason's
need.
got a good.
You know,
What's that?
there's only 7 council members for a city of 58,000. We need 13 board
Hey,
members for PCA.
We've tried to change the bylaws a number of times.
Oh,
But just to point out that Matt and Jason are both executive committee positions, so we have to think about that. So if you think about who wants to take on the secretary job, you know, I could even do it. If we
It's
got down to
fun.
a lean 7-person board that really functioned, I'd be happy to support it.
I absolutely refuse to do it, so.
Well, you're already the vice chair, so
Alrighty then.
you're out of the running.
wow.
How do you really feel?
It's fun.
But it's conceivable that we'll need a
We're
treasurer
safe.
and a secretary.
My vice chair, but how did I become vice chair?
Tim was good at it.
I couldn't touch your level of quality.
Well, thank you for
Probably
doing one of
couldn't
your
either,
last
but I
meetings.
could do it.
We could all do anything. We set our
It
minds.
does make you follow along more.
Yeah, posted.
You know, you get a little more out of the meetings when you have to
Pay attention.
Yeah.
take notes.
This one's easier. I'm a secretary of another board of another organization. We have a 2-page agenda, and I just have a heck of a time following that.
It makes it harder to participate in the
it-
meetings though,
Yeah.
because you're note taker kind of thing, you know.
And if we get to the replacing the treasurer position, that's gonna require a new check signing card.
That should be you.
So all check signers are gonna have to go through that whole process.
That
If
seems
Matt's
like a-
not gonna do it.
That seems like
Well,
And
Neil's
you
already,
gotta fill that one.
Neil's already a check signer. Neil,
Well,
Cindy, Matt.
no wonder he wanted to do it.
he's already, you're on finance too.
He's
right?
already.
Yeah,
He's on
No,
finance
I-
already.
It's good that, because I'm constantly calling around to see who's available, who's convenient. I like to spread it thin, not hit the same person up all the time.
Give everybody a chance.
Yes.
I signed checks at the thrift store the other day.
Yeah,
It was really cool.
I walk into the post office, I stopped in at Saks, and there's, oh, you want to sign some checks? Yep. We do business, anywhere, anytime. That's it, I think.
Okay, anything else, folks? All right, can we get a motion to adjourn? I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay. I believe we're all in favor? Yes? Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for being here.